So before we get into things, first off, I'd like to thank you, Konami, for only making this card a super, so that way I could, actually do this video without breaking the bank. What is up, Yugi Tube? It's your boy, Meh of Pig and Meh, doing yet another episode of Concept to Locals, where I take a deck, throw something together, and show you the process of building, testing, and then telling you how I do at Locals. And with this deck, I figure I'd join the algorithm and try out this formula that I've been sitting on for quite a while. Prank Kids. This deck is actually quite good, because I was testing on Dueling Book earlier, and I will say this deck is a really fun kind of big-brained deck that will make you do a host of interesting card interactions and kind of tell you that you need to learn to read your cards, because you'd be amazed by the things you can learn doing that. So let's just go over the quick what's the deck before I go any more into this. Starting with the main deck, here's about the general core that I've noticed you have to run for Prank Kids. To start out, you have to play 16 of the little guys. Full-on, maxed out playsets. Because the thing with Prank Kids was when they are used for a link or fusion summon of a Prank Kids card, or monster specifically, they will summon an opposite one from the deck whilst also doing an effect. So the wind guy here will Foolish Burial a card to summon one. The water one will give you 1,000 life points to then summon one. Fire will burn to then give you one. And rock, you banish a card out of your hand to then draw a card and then special from deck. These guys all work in a really interesting way to generate advantage just kind of crazily. And then in terms of since you run these 16 to help supplement, you play 3 of your search card that also helps build chain links. So when you're resolving multiple effects, you can put this as chain link 3 so they can't hand trap your little guys. Then you play 2 of this card, which is like a Pot of Avarice. This not once per turn quick play fusion spell that locks you into only being able to summon Prank Kids. And then this random trap that can let you link on your opponent's turn. This is the core foundation of the strategy, and pretty much from here is where the rest of your deck will diverge in most cases. Alright, now in terms of support cards to help supplement the basic core, like I mentioned, this is actually a fusion deck that also link summons, because it was made prior to the Master Rule thing. That made it where you could just put your fusion guys wherever, and all of their link guys are actually super good. But in terms of my fusion card choices, aside from the quick play polymerization that's theme specific, that's searchable via cards that you'll see later in the extra deck, I also choose to run triple polymerization and 1 Thunder Dragon fusion. The fusion is pretty much just really only good for a very, very good boss monster. But this card is absolutely busted in the deck, because it essentially acts as your fusion spell that doesn't lock you into just summoning Prank Kids for the turn. I choose to tech in 1 Pot of Avarice because you blow through your monsters like crazy. Like, almost at Zodiac levels of getting 5 monsters in graveyard. And then just a lot of power 1-ofs to search the field spell. This card is just insane. Get rid of all the back row. I saw they were teching mind controls in the OCG, and I've been playing a fair amount of GOAT recently too, so you don't come to realize until you start using it a lot that this card is insanely good, because it forces a lot of play interactions out of your opponent, or just lets you blow them out completely in the most unfair ways. And then Called By is just the sacky one of. Alright. Now on to the last part of this whole deck building process. This is 2020. In 2020 Yu-Gi-Oh! You have to play hand traps. Now, the thing is, you could actually play way more than these 9. You could play, like, you know, main deck Nibiru's, Phantasma. It just kind of depends on your local. I just decided to try this because there's no imperms in the main deck, which you easily could fit imperms in. Just up to you. I think Ash Blossom is kind of the best hand trap in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I've just been tacking Drill. It's a decent side out at worst. The card is out of everything, if you notice, when you get to these guys, it's only 39 cards. So there's one flex spot in the whole deck, and like I told you, I was looking through the OCG, and I saw that a lot of them were playing this one particular card in this deck. And what card is that? Yeah. I get the same vibes with this card like I do with Mind Control. You don't think about it until you start really using it, but this card is absolutely insane. Because he is a big body that summons himself for free and can just pop a card. So he forces a lot of interaction out of your opponent. And if you're not playing against too many of the most top tier decks, then this guy can just absolutely wreck everybody's day. And also, in a random game I was testing, the field spell card, it has like 3 effects on it that I'll probably better explain later. But one of them is that when you fusion summon, all your monsters on your field gain 500 attack. So in one particular game, I had a 3100 attack Dino Wrestler Prankertops. So, yeah, this guy is absolutely nuts. There's part of me that also kind of wants to test the Beast King Alpha, because I saw a lot of builds doing that too. But, I don't know, it's hard call to really make. I guess it just kind of depends on what I fear at whatever local I'm playing. So, yeah, that's the main deck for now. Let's go into the extra deck so I can further explain exactly what, you know, it is about this deck exactly. Alright, now on to the other important part of the deck, the extra deck. I mean, you're playing Prank Kids. These are the cards you absolutely have to run. Yeah, this deck has an incredibly important extra deck that kind of leaves you no room. I mean, you can play with the ratios you want. I was actually testing 3 of this guy, but I don't know, it doesn't really seem completely necessary, but you can play 3. Again, you kind of have 3 flex spots that kind of aren't flex spots, but we'll get to that. So, start this out. One of the Link 1, Meow Mew. 2 Cock-a-Doodle-Doo. 2 Bow Wow Wow, Yippee Yo, Yippee Yay. One of this guy I have yet to ever summon. 2 copies of this big mother trucker. One of this guy I've never summoned. And 2 Red Rocket. So, like I told you, all the Prank Kids effects to summon other Prank Kids trigger on when they are used for the fusion or link summon of another Prank Kids monster. Prior to the existence of this Link 1 guy, you had to essentially have everything be a 2-card combo. But with Meow Mix there, everything's a 1-card combo, and you just hit the gates running. So, yeah. This guy is absolutely necessity to just take this deck over the edge. And he also has another neat effect that you can actually banish him from your graveyard to then pay for the tributing cost for any of these guys. Which, that's really good in the play interaction from the card he's pointing down to. But I'll get to that in a second. Cock-a-Doodle-Doo here just is yet another Rhoda, but for your Prank Kid spells and traps. And he also has the effect that you contribute him to target 2 Prank Kids cards, add them to your hand. So he's really good for recycling your spell cards, namely your Quick Play Fusion spell, or whatever you decide to dump off of the little green guy. Bow Wow Bark, you can read that. He can just put 2 little Prank Kids guys in your hand on your opponent's turn, and that's real good because it just lets you have more fusion fodder to, spam your board. And this guy's a Harpy's Feather Duster. But he's also a Link 4, which is real awkward, because in kind of my earliest playtesting session of this deck, the trap card that let me Link summon on the opponent's turn, more often than not, I only really had 3 monsters to Link with. So which means I really didn't summon him, but, yeah. This guy is supposed to have a neat effect, but I haven't ran into the scenario in which I've actually used him, but I know that you absolutely have to play at least 1 copy of him. But I don't really have much to say. But these 2, oh my god. These are what makes the deck, aside from the Link 1, just bananas. Because Red Rocket here pretty much triggers 2 Prank Kid monsters, which then gives you 2 more bodies, and then has the neat effect that he could tribute himself to summon any non-fusion Prank Kids monster, or 2 non-fusion Prank Kids monsters from your graveyard. So it means you can cock-a-doodle-doo. So like, usually the combo is you'll summon him, get your Prank Kid, make that, get your search card, and you'll have another body on board. So then you can make this card, then you'll have even more bodies. And in some way, if you make this guy, you use his effect to have more bodies on board, use that, tribute, and then get your stuff. But yeah. Also, this guy's an instant fusion target, and trust me, I thought about it. This guy is a real awesome card, and just absolutely insane. But it's also insane is this guy. He is essentially a quick play Regeki on your opponent's turn. Normally he would tribute himself, but you have a little something that lets you tribute. Or banish itself to make it where you don't have to tribute your ginormous monster. Also, he's not once per turn. In fact, a lot of these cards in like the main deck that are really good are not once per turns. Minus the Prank Kids to summon more Prank Kids, but I digress. That'd be too broken to literally have a deck of Reborn Tengus, but I digress. But yeah, also, he's a Thunder. Thunder, 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 Thunder. Yeah, that whole jazz. So, he's super good. He basically helps you keep control of the board state, and he applies a lot of pressure to the opponent. So yeah, if you're playing Prank Kids, all of this is an absolute necessity. There are some flex spots even in this in terms of ratios, but for the most part, this is about the most, like, perfected ratio I could come up with. Now for the flex spots. This is essentially a staple in any fusion deck, because you send the Thunder Dragon fusion, you shuffle your guys, and you just proceed to ruin your opponent's deck. And also, pretty much if you have mind control and you can bait out a negate or something, you can use your opponent's monster to then make this guy, to then ruin their deck. He is absolutely fantastic and completely necessary. I just Boral Sworded somebody for game multiple times and was like, hey, this card's real good. So I just choose to play him. And the water guy is a level 2 Aqua, so you can make this guy. That's totally awesome. So there we go. That's the preliminary. That's what these cards are. I'm going to proceed to take this deck, test it out, see what I can do with it. And either the video will end here with maybe a descriptor at the bottom, or you'll get a follow-up. It just kind of depends on, the state of the world and what tournaments I do. But yeah, for now, this is Prank Kids. Oh yeah, look at that pull. Prank Kids, best deck, undefeated, let's go! No, I guess I should explain this one. So this deck very much overperformed today. Like, my God. We did a 4-round local. I went against 2 virtual worlds, 1 Dino, and Altergeist. And I too owed all of them. So yeah, this deck is awesome. And there were some changes from the last time, so I'll go over real quick. To start out, you still rock max playsets of every Prank Kids. Still 2 Pandemonium, 3 of the Field Spell, 2 of their little Avarice, and 1 Plan. Plan was an absolutely fantastic card, because linking on the opponent's turn is very good when you have a quick play Harpy's Feather Duster, and Altergeist can't do anything against that. Pandemonium was fantastic at 2, didn't need it too much, didn't need it too little. Palace did Palace things, was usually an easy side out. Same thing with Pranks. When it needed it, when I needed it, it worked. Also, it can shuffle any Prank Kids cards, so you can shuffle back the spells and traps if you need to. I decided to try 2 Thunder Dragon fusions. This card was great because Battle Butler over here is an absolute MVP, boss hoss, just fantastic card. And I wanted to cheese out him. And the fact that it shuffles your Prank Kids guys' backs just keeps getting you going, because this deck absolutely gasses out super quick. Poly was great whenever I got the turns to do it. And yeah, no complaints. Avarice, I actually didn't see it a whole lot. My hand traps, I decided to go with Triple Ash, 2 Droll, 1 Veiler. I think 6 was a good number. I don't know if 3 Ash was completely necessary, but she was good. This guy is cool. The OCG has 2 Prankratops, and double Prankratops would be better because Prankratops is just a more versatile card. But this guy put in work because the virtual world cards can't do anything when you put the guys back in the extra deck. He's insane. I love this card. I would almost play multiples, but yeah. And I guess to round it out, your power 1-0s. I still only own 2. Would play 3. Those were the flex spots. I think I used these 2 today. I used Anaconda a lot because of the Thunder Dragon fusion. I learned a lesson. Always max out on this little guy. He is too good. He is your 1-card starter. His in-graveyard effect is stupid. And yeah, max out. This guy's too good. Too strong. 1 bow bow bow, yippee yo, yippee yay. Didn't really need it all that often. I think you have enough ways to recur. Would almost consider maxing out, but I'm not 100% sure. He overperformed because I happened to play against Stun. Still have yet to summon this guy. This guy, absolutely, essentially fantastic. Almost thinking of maxing out. This guy is insane. Like, just holy bojankies. But yeah. I guess from concept to locals, go 8-0 with this deck is just so good. And I can't really show too much, and there may or may not be changes, because there's a charity event going on for another channel called The Wise Guys, where they're doing something for Thanksgiving, where you can donate to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And I might or might not play this for that. I don't know, but yeah. This deck absolutely rules. Prank Kids, best deck. Let's go. This is Meh, Pig and Meh, signing out.